Hello, Saving Country Houses. I'm Julie, and welcome to our home, Mapperton House. The first time I came here, what really struck me was not just the size of it, but also the history around it, knowing that this house was built in, the 1540s. And that, to me, as an American, it's old. That is old. Come on in. When I married into this family, this sort of aristocratic family, you marry into a family that's been around for a long time. All right, let's head into the hall, which many people love coming in here because, well, there's so much to talk about, but also it's really a lovely, warm space with the oak paneling. There is this wonderful chimney piece here. This was taken from another house nearby because when houses were sort of rebuilt, they were torn down. Other houses would sort of take what they wanted if they were giving it away. Anyway, that's what these houses at that time wanted to do. They wanted to kind of show off their wealth and power. So everybody walks in and says, wow, including me. When I first entered into the house, I was shocked, really, by the amount of ancestors that were hanging on the walls. And so you kind of have to get your head around that they're looking at you. We have the first Earl of Sandwich, and this guy became the Earl in 1660s. Now, this was Edward's mother. I actually really like this portrait, but some people find her a bit, scary to look at. I like that the family portraits are here. I think they're one big happy family. So I don't feel that any ancestors looking on me, upon me and thinking, what is this American doing? I think they're quite pleased, actually. I hope so. Now this room is considered the smartest room in the house. This is the drawing room. And the furniture that you see here, as far as these two sofas, they came from one of the fourth Earl's ships. They're lovely. My mother-in-law had them recovered. And then you've got these enormous chairs. And of course, these would be made because the women and their petticoats, right? So they'd have to have enough space. I'm not going to sit in here because this is another restoration project. And then we've got a suite of this wonderful rosewood Regency furniture. This comes from Louisa, the sixth Countess of Sandwich. There is a bust of Louisa there. It's lovely to be surrounded by furniture that dates back to, our ancestors. I mean, that's what's so wonderful because there's so many incredible stories. John Montagu here, the fourth Earl, had a mistress, and her name was Martha Ray. They were very much in love, but unfortunately, she had a jealous ex-lover, and she was shot dead outside the Covent Garden Playhouse, and he was absolutely distraught after this happened because she really was the love of his life. So we like to place them side by side together. Anyway, sorry for that depressing story. When I first arrived here and saw the scale of Mapperton, it was quite daunting to realize what I was one day going to have to help manage alongside my husband. Not being from this country and not having the vast knowledge of British history, I felt that there was a huge learning curve for me, not only about the family that I married into, but about the building itself. So we're entering now into the staircase hall. This was built during that Georgian period where we're trying to show off our wealth and power. So Richard Brodrick IV comes in and he's like, right, I'm gonna wipe everything out. I'm gonna put in this decorative ceiling. I'm gonna put in this fantastic staircase so that when people would walk in, it would have that wow factor. He installed this wonderful bastard, that's true, bastard brothers staircase here. So the Bastard brothers were very well known for their workmanship here in Dorset. It's quite funny when we have visitors, we say, well, it was the Bastard brothers. And sort of, sometimes you'll get this alarming look like, wait, did they say it the right way? And then again, we're surrounded by a lot of Montagu ancestors here. It's a lot, but the good news is, there she is. That is my American, that's Alberta, the 9th Countess of Sandwich. She's from Chicago like me. She had 4 children like me. She's a yogi like me. We have a lot in common. So I always feel like she's looking down on me, being like, it's okay, I get it, right? I've been there and you're gonna be okay. For me, having the title Countess of Sandwich, I mean, it's a real British thing. I've had visitors many times come up to me asking me if the owners still live in the house. And, you know, I was like, yeah, they do. And they're like, what are they like? I'm like, oh, you know, they're pretty cool. So, because the American accent, no one would expect that I'm living here. Welcome to the Great Chamber. An absolutely extraordinary room. Just the pendant ceiling in itself is just exquisite. This was built Tudor period, around, you know, the 1540s, and there is a very similar one in Hampton Court Palace. It always begs the question, did they want to, in one sense, emulate what the crown was creating in, you know, their palace, etc.? And you can see the contrast between the Georgian windows and then, of course, the Tudor windows here. I mean, such a contrast, and I think that's what's so wonderful about this room, because you've got sort of these different centuries intersecting. This room is, of course, open to the public, but also this room is where we have paying guests come and stay, and they love this room. They love the 4-poster bed. We've always been told that it's super comfortable. I'm just gonna give it a little test here. I'm not gonna get my feet on it. And you've got a lovely sort of silk gathered material with kind of a rose, if you like, motif. I would call it a rose motif gathered in the middle here, so something lovely to look up to. I think this is a lovely, warm room, and it's amazing what I feel you can do with centuries kind of just glaring at you, but still being able to make it into a wonderful space. There's elements that, of course, it feels like it is. You're living in a museum. But once you actually start using your hands and getting more involved, then it feels like you're home. As an American, you know, we always read up about English gardens and how they're so spectacular. I mean, in America, of course, we've got gardens, but we do call them kind of backyards. But how the English just know how to do gardening the right way. When I look around the gardens, I see history. The 18th century pool was not built to be a swimming pool as we've come to know it. In fact, it was built for the purposes of feeding those who were living in the house. So it was a fishery, it had lots of fish. Ooh, it is cold. We've had a couple historians come around, and it's possibly as early as the 17th century. Ugh. Oh God. This pool is filled with blanket weed. Like, this is what I'm walking through. I'm literally ankle deep right now. Ooh, God, now I'm knee deep. Okay, literally, the pool started to decrease in water level. And so we realized that there were some big leaks. This is not a small job. Fixing this pool, look at the size of this. This is not inexpensive, and you have to do it the right way. Oh, I just got an itch there, sorry. I think somebody just stung me. Sorry. As an American, I've married into this, aristocratic family, and I've decided to do things a little bit differently, and it's been documented now for life. So 100 years from now, my grandkids can watch this and be like, look at our grandma, she's in this green swampy pool. But maybe they'll come in because they've seen that I've done it. There's so much going on all of the time that you're really investing so much of your energy into this place that I would be absolutely devastated if this place was gone. I've become very attached to this place, and I never thought I would, ever.